We're at the end of row 18. We've made our last square, and we're just going to slip stitch into the chain space of that edge block. Because we are decreasing, we are not going to make another block there. So to start round 19, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. We're going to do our slip stitches. Just straighten out my yarn here. So we're going to slip stitch into the first 3 stitches. And into that chain space. And now we're ready to start our first block. We're going to work 2 blocks of white, and then 9 blocks of the green, and 4 blocks of white. So once you finish round 19, or row 19, I'll meet back up with you. We're at the end of row 19. We have 15 blocks. To start row 20, we're going to chain 1, turn the work, get all our little tails out of the way here. We are finished with the green. And get our white over here, all those tails out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into those first 3 stitches. We're going to be adding yellow in this time. So we're going to do our first 3 blocks are going to be white, and then we're going to do 10 blocks of the yellow. And then 1 block of white. So 3 blocks yellow, 3 blocks white, 10 blocks yellow, and 1 block of the white again. So once you get to the end of this row, I will meet back up with you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of row 20, and we have 14 blocks. We have 4 blocks of white and 10 blocks of yellow. To start row 21, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go ahead and turn the work again. We're going to slip stitch into those first 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and into that first chain space right there. It's a little tight. I don't know why it's being so tight. There we go. So for row 21, we're going to have 1 block of white, 9 blocks of the yellow, and 3 more blocks of white on the end. So I will meet back up with you at the end of the row. We're at the end of row 21. We have 13 blocks. To start row 22, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn the work. Straighten out our little butterflies. We're going to go ahead and do our 3 slip stitches in those first 3 stitches. and in the chain space, chain up 3, and work our first block. We're going to work one more block for a total of 2 blocks, so 2 white blocks, 6 yellow blocks, and then 4 more white blocks on the end. I'll catch back up with you at the end of the row. And we're at the end of row 22. We now have 12 blocks. To start row 23, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. We're now going to be, we've finished our yellow, we're going to be adding in orange. So we're going to start our slip stitches. 1, 2, and 3 into the chain space so we can start our first block. So we're going to have 3 blocks of white, 6 blocks of orange, and 2 more blocks of white on this row. When you get to the end of the row, I'll meet back up with you. We're at the end of row 23. We have 11 blocks. To start row 24, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn the work. And try not to throw our bobbins off the table. And here we go. We're going to do our slip stitches so that we can start our first block. Go slip stitch into that chain space. So for row 25, excuse me, row 24, we are going to do 1 white block, 6 orange blocks, and 3 white blocks at the end. I will meet back up with you at the end of the row. We're at the end of row 24. We have 10 blocks. To start row 25, chain 1 and turn the work. I'm going to do our slip stitches in the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and into that first chain space. And then we're ready to work our first block. We're going to work 2 white blocks, 6 orange blocks, and 1 white block at the end. I will meet back up with you at the end of the row. We are done with row 25. We now have 9 blocks. We're going to move on to row 26. We are done with our orange, so you can fasten that off. We are going to start working with red now, our last color change. So chain 1 and turn the work. do our slip stitches. Tighten that chain a little bit. 1, 2. Make sure we get into that stitch. 3. And into this chain space where we can start our first block. So we're going to be doing 1 white block. We're going to do 5 red blocks and then 2 white blocks on the end. So I will meet back up with you at the end of the row. We're at the end of row 26. We have 8 blocks. To start row 27, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. And our little pop and go. There we go. We're going to go ahead and do our slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then into that chain space, our next one. Now we're ready to start our blocks. So we're going to have 1 white block, 5 red blocks, and 1 white block on the end for a total of 7 blocks. I will meet back up with you at the end of the row. We're at the end of row 27. We have 7 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To start row 28, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. We're going to do our slip stitches. So let's get the bobbin out of the way. And start our block. Now for this row, we're going to have 1 block of white, 4 blocks red, and 1 block white. I will meet back up with you at the end of this row. And we're at the end of row 28. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. We're done with the red. And from here to the end, we are just going to be using white, and we're going to be decreasing by 1 block each row till we have 1 block left. So for row 29, 30, 31 to 33, just 1 block less each row. So it's just chain 1, turn the work. And we're just going to keep repeating the same thing, just doing the slip stitches. And then starting our new block, or our next block. And then just continuing with white all the way across. And since this row will have 5 blocks, and then it'll be 4 blocks, 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 1 block, till we get to the corner. So I will meet back up with you when we are down to 1 block and we're ready to start the border. Here's the square completed. Now I just have to put a single crochet border around the edge of it. And you can do that by attaching your yarn any place you want around your square. I usually like to start in a corner, and what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 single crochet per block and 4 single crochets, or 2 single crochets in the corners. So when you're doing your corners, you're going to have your 3 single crochets, and you're just going to put an extra one in there so that it goes around the corner. So you'll have 2 single crochets in their corners. So real simple to do. I'm going to bring the camera down and get you started on that. And then once we've completed that, you'll make a second panel for the back of your pillow. So I'm going to start right here in the corner, and I'm just going to attach my yarn with a single crochet. And then I'm going to put 2 more single crochets in this side of this block. When I come back around, I'll put 1 more single crochet right into that same stitch, so there's 2 in the corner. And then in this next block right here, just put 3 single crochets. It doesn't matter exactly where you put them, just as long as you have 3 single crochets per block. And on these blocks where they're sideways, you can either put them right into that stitch, or you can just put them around the stitch. Usually I just put them around the stitch. It just makes it quicker and easier. It's not going to change the design of your block. So I'm just going to go 2, 3, and then we come up to the next block. 1, 2, and 3. And we're just going to continue in that manner all the way around. When we get to the corner here, this one we have it's a stitch. Instead of putting 3 in there, I'm going to put 4 so that it goes around the corner. And then we're just going to continue putting 3 stitches, a piece of fuzz there, 3 stitches in each block all the way around until I get back to the beginning. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. Once you have the border done, you can go ahead and weave all your ends in. What you'll need to do is you'll need to make a second panel. You can do another heart panel, or you can do a solid panel like I did. It's really up to you how you want to do your second panel. If you're not sure how to start another panel, just back up the video to the beginning where we started our panel, and just follow the directions. Instead, if you want to do a solid panel, just don't change colors and just make another panel exactly the same with a border on it. And then come on back, and we're going to single crochet these together and put in our pillow form. Put both of your pieces together with the wrong sides together, and we're going to crochet the sides together. We're going to leave one side open so that we can slip the pillow form in. Doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to start in this corner right here. I'm going to work in the back loop of the front piece and the front loop of the back piece. You don't have to do that. I just think it makes it look a little bit, gives you a nice little edge on there, but it's completely up to you. And we're just going to go stitch for stitch and work around all the way around. You can take your time with it. It's not a rush. We're just going to slip single crochet both pieces together. Make sure you stop when you get to this corner right here and leaving a side open so that we can slip the pillow form inside, and then we'll finish up. I'll meet back up with you when I get to this corner. Okay, I've come all the way around. I have one side open, and we're going to go ahead and stick the pillow form in. Now, I'm going to just take my hook out and put a stitch marker in there so that nothing comes unraveled. I'm just going to put slip the pillow form in, and now we just have to crochet this edge closed, and the pillow will be all done. So we're going to go ahead and continue working on take my time. And close this up. When you get to the end, you're going to fasten off. You're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet that you made. And then we're going to fasten off, weave in our ends, and the pillow will be all completed. I'll meet you back up at the end. So here's the finished pillow, all the edging all done on it. Here's the front, here is the back. So I hope you like this tutorial. Thanks for watching and happy crocheting! Bye-bye!